Surface-bound C3 convertase deposits large numbers of C3B fragments on pathogen surfaces and generates C5 convertase activity. The formation of C3 convertases is the point at which the three pathways of complement activation converge. Because both the classical pathway and the MB-lectin pathway convertases, C4B, 2B, and the alternative pathway convertase, C3B, BB, have the same activity and they initiate the same subsequent events. They both cleave C3 to C3B and C3A. C3B binds covalently through its thioester bond to adjacent molecules on the pathogen surface. Otherwise, it is inactivated by hydrolysis. C3 is the most abundant complement protein in plasma, occurring at a concentration of 1.2 milligrams per milliliter, and up to 1,000 molecules of C3b can bind in the vicinity of a single C3 convertase. Thus, the main effect of complement activation is to deposit large quantities of C3b on the surface of the infecting pathogen, where it forms a covalently bonded coat that signal the ultimate destruction of the pathogen by phagocytes. The next step in the cascade is the generation of the C5 convertases. In the classical and the MB-lectin pathways, a C5 convertase is formed by the binding of C3b to C4b2b to yield C4b2b 3b. By the same token, the C5 convertase of the alternative pathway is formed by the binding of C3b to the C3 convertase to form C3b2bb. C5 is captured by these C5 convertase complexes through binding to an acceptor site on C3b and is then rendered susceptible to cleavage by the serine protease activity of C2b or bb. This reaction, which generates C5b and C5a, is much more limited than cleavage of C3, as C5 can be cleaved only when it binds to C3b, that is part of the C5 convertase complex. Thus, complement activation by both the alternative, MB-lectin, and classical pathways leads to the binding of large numbers of C3b molecules on the surface of the pathogen, the generation of a more limited number of C5b molecules, and the release of C3a and C5a. And that surface-bound C3 convertase deposits large numbers of C3b fragments on pathogen surfaces and generates C5 convertase activity. Have a great day.